Today, we are covering a framework that I invented. I made up. It's a framework to help the connection between achieving something and the existing potential. So, what happens very often is that you or a team, a particular individual may want to make a shift or have more certainty about something. And the most difficult part is making the crossing the chasm between the knowing where one wants to be or the team or a particular area of study to where one is now, right? Having that sort of bridge in between the two items. So the framework goes like this. So the name is Tools, Stories, and Connections, and it has three phases. So each section is one of those words. First one is about the tools. So let's think on a scenario. I did this recently with an agile coach. So first thing we do is write down all the tools that you have in your toolbox, things that you are comfortable using, frames, anything that quickly you pull out when there is needed in conversations and things like you do. That will be first part. So you write down all those items. Those are your tools. Part two is about the stories, and it's about bringing to life the moments where you use those tools. For an agile coach, it could be, for example, one of the tools be value stream mapping and the different stories on when that has been used and what happens around it. So that's sort of section one and section two. If we think, for example, in another context, someone that has been in the software industry for a long time and wants to be an architect, right? So if you think about an architect, the different tools that have at hand, it will be things around integration, it will be things about the UX, things about perhaps data management and what's the master. All those are tools, and so then map it on section two about stories. Okay? So you have all your different tools in the yellow and all the different stories, the pink. And then we get to part three, which is where the mapping actually happens. When you have digested each one of the items, those things in your toolbox, and all the stories around them, then you map them to the things you want to do. So in this scenario of the agile coach, we map them against the agile values, right? The 12 principles, actually. And so you can say that we have our tools on the left. I love matrices because of this in the past. And then all the values at the top. And then we did the mapping of those stories. And so you can visually see where maybe items, where are the gaps and where are the conversions, where our experience based the most, and where are potential areas to work through. In the scenario of the architect, we covered this with some Salesforce MVPs the other day, and we were talking about something very similar. So you can see on the left the different tools, user experience, integration. We were talking about master data management, all these different things in your toolbox around software architecture. And then things at the top are things you want to accomplish as an architect, right? So things that you always have in mind is this idea of, a stable and a scalable system, reusable piece and nested components, the security part of it, and the emerging, the ever flux. The only constant is that we are in flux. So, and then being able to map those items and say, where do the stories sit and what are the different gaps that needs to be covered? And there you go. Here is my framework of tools, stories, and connections. Tools where we define the things that we have in our toolbox that we use comfortably every day. Stories are about the experiences of those tools, the situations, things that makes them memorable, remarkable, and easy to recall. And then last but not least is this idea of connections, of how we map those things together. I particularly really like matrices. It will start very fluid, right? All the tools everywhere. You can use any of the digital canvas tools for this sort of things. Then you map your stories around it, right? So you do these visualizations of putting things together for easy recall. And then is when you use that matrix to organize the things in an easier to digest manner, where you have your tools on the left, items that you want to cover or you want to surface at the top. And then the stories becomes how you're connecting in between the two axes of your matrix. And therefore, things emerge the idea where the most effort and experience is, where are the gaps, and then open the conversation of how those are filled, where are you going to tackle next, what is feasible, what may get in your way, what hinders you, and what are the opportunities that you have at hand. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know how it goes. Just my own framework for you to use. And leave comments, thoughts down below, and see you very soon.